Hello, everyone. Welcome to Inside the Americas. Here's a look at today's show. The Republicans tighten their grip on the House and, crucially, take the Senate. The party sweeps the midterm elections as expected, leaving a lame duck presidency for Barack Obama's final 2 years in office. The Right to Die movement in the U.S. now has a very real face. 29-year-old Brittany Maynard, suffering from terminal brain cancer, takes her own life on her own terms. And a fugitive Mexican mayor and his wife are arrested in connection with the case of 43 missing students. First, this week, the Republican Party steamrolled to victory in the U.S. legislative elections. 2 years into Barack Obama's second term, the Democrats have lost control of the Senate, and the Republicans have consolidated their lead in the House. The president's popularity is at its lowest ever, and it will be an uphill battle now for him to push any policy through in the next 2 years. Yuka Royer explains.
Losing control of Congress at midterm is not unusual for any second-term president. But for Barack Obama, the Republican Senate victory comes at a particularly bad time.
It does seem overwhelmingly that the population of the U.S. is dissatisfied with Obama.
The U.S. economy is improving, but many people have yet to feel it. U.S. airstrikes haven't been able to stop the extremist advance in Syria. And the deadly Ebola virus has landed in the U.S., infecting 2 people so far. All these issues have brought Obama's popularity to its lowest level. Now that the Republicans control both houses of Congress, it will make it practically impossible for the president to push through any major policy changes.
You're going to see committee chairmanships change in the Senate, particularly. You're going to see McCain coming back into a power position on the Senate Armed Services Committee. You're going to see Mitch McConnell, who has strong views against Iran sanctions, people who have been waiting for a chance to get back in the seat and influencing decisions on both domestic and foreign affairs that are just not helpful to what the administration is trying to do.
The Obama administration has already been struggling against the Republican-controlled House of Representatives for the past 3 years. A congressional stalemate over budgets led to a 16-day government shutdown a year ago. Analysts say that political gridlock will remain largely unchanged, with Republicans blocking all major policy proposals while giving a little on smaller issues. For the GOP, it's also important they keep voters satisfied for the next 2 years.
Now they're in power, and now they're going to be responsible for the economy. They're going to be responsible for a number of the other issues the American people are worried about. And the question is to what degree they're going to start being blamed for this now, too. And I think this sets us up for a very interesting situation in 2 years when Hillary Clinton will be running for president.
Many eyes are already on the 2016 presidential race, as the embattled Democratic president fights an increasingly lonely battle at the White House.
Well, the midterms were also marked by a series of referendums. Oregon, Alaska, and Washington, D.C. all voted to legalize marijuana. Arkansas, Illinois, Nebraska, and South Dakota voted to increase the minimum wage. And in a victory for the pro-choice campaign, Colorado rejected a proposal that would have defined a fetus as a person. Well, also this week, the debate over assisted suicide was reignited across America. That says 29-year-old Brittany Maynard, suffering from terminal brain cancer, very publicly decided to end her life on her terms. Mark Thompson explains.
I still get out and do what I can. I walk with my husband, I walk me and my dogs.
A happy bride on her wedding day just 2 years ago. Soon after, Brittany Maynard started suffering from debilitating headaches. In January, she was diagnosed with brain cancer. And by the spring, she discovered she had just 6 months to live. On Saturday, she chose to end her life via doctor-assisted suicide.
I hope my family is still proud of me and the choices I made. And if November 2nd comes along and I'm still alive, I know that we'll just still be moving forward as a family, like, out of love for each other, and that decision will come later.
Earlier this year, the 29-year-old and her husband, Dan, moved from California to Oregon, where the Death with Dignity law is in effect. Montana, Washington and Vermont are the only other 3 states where the right is granted. The case has put the right to die debate back in the spotlight.
She loves life, and precisely because she loves life, she wants to die with dignity.
But some religious groups have voiced their objections to assisted suicide. The Vatican responded to Brittany's death by calling it reprehensible and a gesture which should be condemned. Over 750 people have used Oregon's death with dignity law since it was introduced 20 years ago. Only a handful, like Brittany, have been under the age of 35.
Well, this week also marked a very emotional day for New Yorkers as One World Trade Center officially opened for business. That building is now the tallest in the United States, rising from the ashes of the site where once stood the Twin Towers, decimated on September 11, 2001. Clovis Casali reports.
It's America's tallest building, One World Trade Center, a symbolic address for an imposing landmark. The skyscraper welcomed on Monday its first tenants, employees of a publishing group, owner of The New Yorker and Vanity Fair. This new building is set to boost the Big Apple's downtown area.
As all of these Condé employees move into the tower, and then they go out at lunchtime, and they go out at night, and they go out to run errands, the 24/7 community people think downtown has become is going to be put on steroids when this building gets fully occupied.
One World Trade Center stands where the Twin Towers used to be. One of the greatest tragedies in U.S. history unfolded here when Al-Qaeda carried out attacks against the iconic skyscrapers. Impossible for anyone to forget these scenes of chaos, and for some Americans, this new building can help the nation move on.
It's definitely nice to see the building coming about, and hopefully it's closure for some people that suffered loss here. A lot of emotions going on, so America picks itself up, dusts itself off, and moves forward.
Sustainable design is at the heart of the project, with renewable energy, recycled construction materials, and the reuse of rainwater. Security was also a prime concern, and authorities are more than confident over the issue.
This is the safest Class A office space any place, not in the nation, any place in the world. Port Authority has moved into 4 World Trade Center last week. We're confident in the security of this, which has been done with federal, state, and local partners. FBI, Homeland Security, state police.
Businesses and executives will not be the only ones allowed in. The public will be able to access an observation deck on floors 100 to 102 as of next spring.
To Mexico now, where a fugitive former mayor and his wife are in police custody. They're accused of ordering a police attack that left 6 people dead and 43 college students missing. It's thought the mayor ordered the police to stop a protest the students were staging at a political event organized by his wife.
They were Mexico's most high-profile fugitives. The former mayor of Iguala, José Luis Albaca, and his wife Maria have been arrested on suspicion of masterminding the abduction and feared massacre of 43 student teachers in September. It's in this working-class neighborhood in Mexico City that the pair were caught during an early morning raid. They'd reportedly been hiding out here for several weeks. The mass disappearance has shocked the country and undermined President Peña Nieto's claims that Mexico has become safer on his watch. At a government event on Tuesday, he insisted that the arrest would lead to the truth.
I want to publicly thank the Attorney General's office and Mexican state security forces for the arrest of the former mayor of Iguala and his wife. I hope that this arrest will contribute in a decisive way to furthering the investigation which the Attorney General is carrying out.
On learning of the couple's arrest, the father of one of the missing students expressed hope that the former mayor and his wife would now tell the authorities what happened to their children.
This is certainly good news, because we know this was the missing piece. If the federal authorities have completed the jigsaw puzzle, then this means we are closer to finding our children.
According to the statements of several people so far arrested in the case, the students were murdered and buried. But so far, searches in Guerrero State have proved fruitless. Last month, mass graves were uncovered, but DNA tests ruled out any links to the students.
All right, we'll leave you now with this. Just imagine walking a tightrope between two skyscrapers with no harness and no net. Now, imagine doing that blindfolded. Well, that's just what Daredevil Nik Wallenda did in Chicago this week. Take a look.
You guys rock.
A casual wave and Nik Wallenda steps into the void.
Listen to that roar.
With no safety harness, he began the 140-meter-long walk on a high wire strung between two Chicago skyscrapers, 200 meters above the ground.
This is what I was made for.
After 7 minutes of suspense, he safely made it to the other side.
Let's see if I can run. Well, maybe I hit the edge of the building. There we go. Praise God.
But that was just the practice run. With thousands of spectators watching from the towers and the ground far below, he started a second, shorter crossing, this time blindfolded.
I think you probably saw me shaking like a leaf. That wire was shaking underneath me, and, I just wanted to make it to the other side. I wasn't going to think twice. I was getting on the wire. I'm going.
The Chicago stunt was just the latest death-defying feat by this daredevil born into a celebrated German-American circus family. Wallenda was the first person to walk a tightrope directly over the Niagara Falls. He's also tackled the Grand Canyon, making the 450-meter high crossing without a safety net. The 35-year-old father of three is already thinking of his next performance. He's eyeing the Bosphorus Strait, the pyramids of Egypt, and the Eiffel Tower.
That's pretty incredible stuff. Thanks so much for watching Inside the Americas. We'll see you again next week for all the news from north to south.